or, listen in, but just be present. That's all I'm going to say. Just be present for these next 30, 40 minutes, because I promise you what you're going to get tonight is just epic. So thank you, Dave, again, and welcome, everyone.
Thank you, Angel. And your name is so fitting. I just love calling you Angel because you're such an earth angel. And everybody put your thinking cap on. I got mine on. And doing these presentations over and over has blessed my life because it keeps this most important information at the top of my mind awareness. And it truly has come back and blessed me tenfold doing as many presentations as I have. And I hope it will do the same for you. And if you're new, thank you for allowing me to share my passion. I love doing this. I don't have to do it. I get to do it. And I'm very passionate about it. And so we're going to talk about these two products right here. Isagenix has a lot of products, and, John Anderson and Isagenix, their commitment to quality. Anytime you add any other product, it makes a difference. But health is, it's a habit, and healthy people do healthy things every day, day in and day out, month after month, year after year. And that's why they're healthy. It's cause and effect, right? And unhealthy people, unfortunately, do, and I've been there, do unhealthy things every day, day in and day out. And it leads to these challenges that we have in our life. And that's cause and effect. It's immutable. It's infallible. And I didn't know that some of the things that I was eating were part of the problems. Like I used to think Nutri-Grain bars were healthy for me. And my daughter just showed me something where somebody on Instagram who graduated from Cornell just right before I came in here shows all of the products that have like healthy labeling and shows why they're not healthy and lists them all and then gives you the better option. Quaker Oats, who would have known, that they were spraying those with things that are similar to Roundup, and to be sure to buy organic so that they're not spraying those very toxic chemicals on. And even with organic, they can still spray some chemicals on them, but just not as long, not as heavily. So I want to do as minimal damage to my body as I can. But to know that I have this, and this has been a game changer for me, and it's a healthy habit, and my health is in my 50s now, I'm better health and energy and stamina than I was when I was 16 years old. And I'm not even exaggerating. And it's because the more you can put out equal to what you put in supporting the body. And this is unparalleled. And I'm just so grateful that God brought it into our lives. And it's so simple to do, but it's very profound in the results, especially, well, both of them, but especially this. We're pioneering this right here. I'm so excited to be able to share this science with you so that you can understand what I mean by that statement, and this one as well. Simplicity has never been so profound. This is Jimmy Smith. I've known him for 14 years now. He's 80 here and he's 90 here. In fact, he's 91 now. He turned 91 earlier this year. I did a presentation with him, and we're talking about doing another one here shortly. And he looks younger, doesn't he? But he's not just younger on the outside, like he has like a good lotion or something that he's using. It's his cells. And you have over 100 trillion cells, and most of them are on the inside. So at 90 years old, 91, he's thriving. And there's a science behind that. So it starts with the word telomere. Like, this is as deep as we can go into the human anatomy to really get to the foundation of human health. I had never heard of a telomere. Still to this day, well, there are some people that have heard of it, but they don't really know in depth what it means. But most people have never even heard of it. So I ask a lot of people to talk to their neighbors, their coworkers, their healthcare professionals, and say, hey, do you know what a telomere is? The usual response is, what's a telomere? Even from healthcare professionals who have gone to 7, 8 years of schooling. I've lectured at doctor symposium, dentists, pharmacists, surgeons, all chiropractors, all kinds of the healthcare industry. And most of them do not know what a telomere is. So let's jump into it. This is a chromosome. When I was introduced to Bill Andrews, the geneticist who's playing, I believe, the biggest role in this research, I was mentored by him. And when he brought up telomeres and started talking about the research, he had me at hello. I have not stopped talking about it since 2009, since I was first introduced to it. And so here's a chromosome. The reason I made it with the rope and red electrical tape is because I can carry it around. And I have one right here. And Bill would refer to the plastic tip on a shoestring. And he'd say, what's that plastic tip do? What's the roll? And most people would know what that roll is, and it holds the shoestring together. And he said, well, that's essentially what the telomere, being depicted in red here, does for the DNA at the nucleic bond level. Where those colors are coming together, that's your DNA, that little step. And where the colors come together is called the nucleic bond. And if it wasn't for the telomere, the DNA would separate and it would start to fray. And each one of these steps holds information that runs your cells. So your chromosomes house your DNA. The DNA is being represented in these steps. There's a nucleic bond there, and the nucleic bond does not hold the DNA together. The telomere does. And so as the telomere starts to degenerate, and the body has an innate ability to prevent that from happening or to repair that, but it's not. It's been being suppressed. And as that telomere shortens, and it does it incrementally, very slowly. So I'm just showing different stages here. This would be pre-teenager. You're losing that fraying in the rope is representing these nucleic bonds that are separating. And that's information that's being lost from the cell, much like software in a computer. And the more software we lose, the worse the computer runs. The more DNA, nucleic bonds that separate, the more DNA we're losing, and the worse our health is. In fact, every symptom of aging and every degenerative issue has been linked to the telomere degenerating, causing damage to the DNA, losing that information, and now these different organs don't run as optimally. They're going to be shortening at different rates throughout the body. Like smoking, they know the chemicals in cigarettes shorten your telomeres faster. It's called accelerated telomere shortening. So where is that chemical going to be concentrated at in the body? Well, the throat and lung area. So where do smokers typically have the biggest problems? In the throat and lung area. Why? Because they're compounding that accelerated telomere shortening day after day, month after month. And so since they're accelerating the telomere shortening in the throat and lung area, they're going to have problems with that organ. Now they'll label that with labels like COPD, emphysema, lung cancer, and even on cigarette packs, they say this product has been known to cause cancer. It doesn't cause cancer. It accelerates the telomere shortening, which damages the DNA, separates the nucleic bonds, and then you end up with the problem. That's what it should say on the cigarette box to be more accurate, right? But they just shorten it up and say this causes cancer. Well, now you know why. It accelerates the telomere faster, and when you lose a lot of information or DNA, the cells malfunction, and they'll give it a label for that particular malfunction. What else? Well, they know that processed food and the chemicals that are in them shorten the telomeres faster. So as we're digesting these preservatives in the processed food, they're going to get into the bloodstream, and they could go anywhere in the body, anywhere that the blood's going to deliver those chemicals. And wherever they end up resting, and the vast majority of them, they're going to shorten the telomeres faster. Pre-teenagers' telomeres are shorter by 10 years. The accelerated telomere shortening in pre-teenagers, it was on the front page of USA Today, April 2012. Their telomeres are 10 years shorter than they used to be, which means they're going to get to senescence faster. When your telomere gets to a certain point in degeneration, the cell will shut down. You'll die of a degenerative disease at that point because the cell is no longer going to function, which means that organ is no longer going to function. And if those chemicals, whatever they might be, asbestos used to do it, right? Oops, we shouldn't put asbestos in drywall and in brake shoes. And they still make cigarettes even though they know that this is what that's doing. Well, there should be something on processed food now that says this causes cancer. But we're not there yet. I'm educating you on that. Some of the stuff I'm going to share with you, they are not teaching. You're getting it first time right here. Now this, though, right here is Nobel Prize winning research, relating every symptom of aging and every degenerative issue to the telomere. And Bill Andrews, he's the geneticist that I was mentored by. And this is frozen up. I need to just reset it. So Bill Andrews, right here, the geneticist that I was mentored by, was featured in Popular Science after Harvard did some research after, Bill, they piggybacked off of Bill's research. What did Bill do? Well, he knew that the body can heal itself, like many of us know, but he knew it could heal itself on this level, the telomere and DNA level. These nucleic bonds could repair. He knew it could happen through an enzyme called telomerase. I'm not going to go that deep into that on this presentation on how he knew that and why he knew that. But he knew that, but he had to prove it. And so that was what he set out on his life's mission to do. And he dedicated his life to that. In 1994, he identified the gene that produces this enzyme in human chromosomes, in human cells. And then he invented the procedures to start working with that gene. By 1997, 3 years later, he was able to activate this enzyme. What they found is that gene was being suppressed. So it's being suppressed, and then here we are attacking it with all of these different chemicals that are now in our food. So he unsuppressed it. When he did that with human skin cells in his lab in a petri dish, the human skin cells repaired the damage through that enzyme. It's an innate ability within the chromosome to do that. It's just being suppressed. So he figured out how to unsuppress it and did that. He got Inventor of the Year, runner-up for doing that. Now, this is me and Bill right here. We did a little video that helped me to get the information out. It's a video where he's endorsing the information that I put together since I was mentored by him. He said, Dave, that's the best presentation I've ever seen to take something really complicated and make it easy to understand. We've lectured together and we're friends, and just so grateful for what I learned from him and the impact that that's now making in the world. Now, Harvard piggybacked off of Bill's research, and like Jimmy Smith, that's me about 8 years ago, you guys. And Harvard, Dr. Ronald DeFino headed up a group, and they did what Bill did in mice. And this is ABC News reporting on that.
And now, eternal youth. Is it in a cage around the corner? News tonight of a breakthrough for some pioneering mice. But we always wonder, what does a fountain of youth for rodents reveal for humans? Here's Sharon Alfonsi reporting.
I feel tremendous.
In the movie Cocoon, it's a swimming pool that turns back the clock for a group of senior citizens. But now researchers have found a way not just to stop, but reverse the aging process. The key is something called a telomere. We all have them. They're the tips or caps of your chromosomes, seen here in yellow. This is what it looks like in a young adult. But as you grow older, the telomeres become damaged and frayed, and as they stop working, we start aging, experiencing things like hearing and memory loss. Scientists took mice who were prematurely aged, added an enzyme, and essentially turned their telomeres back on. You can see it before the enzyme, after.
Their brain function improved, their fertility was restored. It was a remarkable reversal of the aging process.
Look at this picture. The mouse on the right has bad skin, gray hair, and is balding. But the one on the left had its telomeres flipped back on.
And you could see that essentially you now have a dark coat color, that the hair is restored, that the coat has a nice healthy sheen to it.
Even more dramatic, the change in brain size. This is before. The mice had 75% of a normal brain, like a patient with severe Alzheimer's. But after the telomeres were reactivated, the brain returns to normal size.
That one really got me, you guys, especially when I read the study or the clinical studies that were done and the papers that were published. So here's the telomere being depicted on the end of the chromosome. And this is why it was given the Nobel Prize, because this is not a petri dish with human skin cells in it, which is a very controlled environment. This is an actual living, breathing mammal like you and me. And when they activated this enzyme in all of the cells of the mice, that innate ability for the cell to repair itself was apparent to the scientist under the microscope watching what's happening to these mice's cells. Mices. So the nucleic bonds, they actually saw the nucleic bonds reestablish their connection and the telomere being repaired. And they didn't know that that was possible. Like ABC News said, what if we told you you could not only slow down, but you could actually reverse? This is reversing and so what happened to the symptoms? Their bones grew back, their cardiovascular system reverted back to that of a young mouse, everything, their skin, their hair, their glucose levels leveled out, their Alzheimer's, it said they had like severe Alzheimer's, it reversed, and they no longer had Alzheimer's. This is why it was given the Nobel Prize, very profound. And what Bill and his research team had kind of theorized with a very educated theory was that if we could do what we did in the human skin cells to a human being, no matter how old they were, they should revert back physiologically to their mid-20s. Well, they just saw that happen in the mice. They're the same age chronologically, but now this one's younger physiologically. And we see that in humans, right? Sometimes they're older and we look younger. Well, that's because their telomeres are longer because they haven't been doing the accelerated telomere shortening. They've actually slowed it down through good choices. And then other people look really old for their age. Well, they've been exposed to stress. Stress will shorten your telomeres faster, and all the chemicals that could do that as well. And they did, they've accelerated their telomeres shortening, so they look older for their age. So it all starts to add up and make sense. Every degenerative issue, every symptom of aging is related to that, and they were all reversed in this mouse right here, even their brains. So pretty profound. Now, John Anderson enters the scene around 2009 and introduced to Bill Andrews by Peter Greenlaw, who's a good friend. And why? Because he's the world's leading expert when it comes to formulating with nutrition, formulated for over 600 companies, over 2,500 different health products, all nutritionally formulated, and for over 27 countries. And his products were always compromised by those companies. He says there's not one instance where they weren't. So he had worked with Jim and Kathy Coover. They all came out of retirement and started this company called Isogenics, which means balanced life. And here he is about 8 years, well, let's see, they started in 2002. So about 7 years later, he's being introduced to Bill Andrews by Peter Greenlaw. And this is Bill here. That's me in Bill's lab, and this is Lancer. These little bottles are little vials. There's hundreds of them here that were there when I was there that day about 2 months ago, that John Anderson had sent over. They said, look, we only work with John Anderson. We wouldn't test anybody else's because it's a waste of our time. There's not anybody even in John's league that could produce the formulations that we need to evaluate and to vet. They're the only lab in the world that can do it. Lancer is the one that created the procedures for that. Bill said while I was there at this visit, Lancer is probably the most intelligent scientist that's alive on the planet today. He created the procedures for evaluating the ingredients in human skin cells to see if it could activate that enzyme. Now, Bill Andrews in his research by 2009, so more than 10 years later, they identified the gene in 1994. 2009, they had tested over 304,000 compounds, one at a time in the human skin cells, putting it into the chromosome and watching what's happening with that gene. Up to 40 researchers working in Bill's lab. They found 8 things that worked. So we're looking at an assay right here. And what this is, if it turns red, it's activating the enzyme and the repairing process is going on with human skin cells right in front of their eyes in the Petri dish. But all of these were toxic chemicals that couldn't be used for human consumption, but they activated the gene. And that's where they first proved that it was possible. And then Harvard piggybacked off of that and they did it with mice. Now enter the scene John Anderson, and he's proprietary in things that he does that nobody else knows how to do. And so that's why he was introduced to Bill. And John didn't know about telomeres and telomerase, not on this level. And he said, now that I know, I believe everything that I've learned has prepared me for this. And absolutely, I feel optimistic. I would have formulated for this a long time ago had I known all of this about telomeres. So he started sending formulations over. In the first 15, he got a hit. Let me say that again. In the first 15, he got a hit. This is called a hit. That means it's activating the enzyme in the human skin cells in his lab. Empirical data right here, immutable. This is factual stuff, like they're watching it happen in front of their eyes. They thought he was extremely lucky. Then he sent 15 more and got another hit. All natural, coming from natural botanicals. Out of 120, they got these 7. And the longer the red line, the better. And let me just say, we're way past this now. In fact, when they improved the product the 3rd time, I got a call from Bill and he said, Dave, John did something I said would be impossible. Found 2 hits that went off the charts. And he was so excited about that. But he said back here, we'll change the landscape of human health with this because we're now supporting that part of the human anatomy that we absolutely understand. We're now supporting it nutritionally for it to operate optimally. So it's going to change the landscape of human health. We started seeing results right away. And in a public interview, he called it a phenomenon. He said, I'm seeing so many different results from people that are being reported back directly to me from the people. Now, I've done over 5,000 presentations on this. And I've seen, we'll get the Nobel Prize. Based on what I've seen, it's Nobel Prize worthy. And they're still continuing to vet more things like they were here. They found more hits. We're way past this now, you guys. There's over 25 red lines in what we're currently taking. And a lot of them are bigger than these 2 right here. They call John Anderson a genius. They tried these ingredients over here and they didn't work for them. And so Bill Andrews, he tested some products out there that said they were doing the same thing, and they're not. And he said, not every telomere product is created equal. So there's a heads up. It's all natural. There's 120 capsules in here, and you just take 2 in the morning, 2 at night. It doesn't even have a childproof cap. It's all natural, you guys. My 18-month-old granddaughter opened it right here in this office. 120, 2 in the morning, 2 at night. And it's just awesome to know that Isagenix is continuing to evolve products as they gain greater understanding, and it's no different with this one. Now, it's a nutritional product, so we don't want to make any claims around curing any illnesses or diseases. The FDA would shut us down. Like if Whole Foods all of a sudden said, hey, come buy this produce and you're not going to have diabetes anymore, or we'll cure your cancer, Whole Foods would be shut down. They would be fined bare minimum. They could be shut down. Same thing with us. We're a nutritional company. We're a health food store. We're just online. And we can't make those claims, and we won't. We want to protect the company. But I'm going to show you some observationals of what happens when we support the body nutritionally on this telomere level. And so this is, I did a meeting out at a dentist office in Minnesota because he saw the results from somebody that was doing this, and he had never seen that in 30 years with teeth and gums. And so I did a meeting out there, and Amy came, and Amy said, on my drive home, I had a whole new perspective on aging, and I thought about my father-in-law. And I know Dick and Amy and Stan, his son. We've done meetings together. I go out to Minnesota and do that with them. And actually, the dentist office was in Wisconsin. They live in Minnesota. He was thinking nursing home right here. He was basically pretty much home all the time. He was tripping over the tubes that were stretched all over the house. And he said, I was thinking next step is the nursing home, 82 years old. He's 83 here. He's 87 right here. Working out, driving, doing everything that he wants to do. He just turned 89. He's going down the slide at the park. I mean, how awesome is that? At 89 years old, he said, I'm going to do 89 push-ups for my birthday live on Facebook Live. He did 107. This is Bob Sheridan. He's very famous in the boxing world. He's in the Boxing Hall of Fame. He's the only announcer that's ever been put in the Boxing Hall of Fame. And the hospital sent him home right here in 2011. And they said, look, there's nothing we can do for you. Your heart, we know what's wrong with it, but we can't touch it. It's too weak. You wouldn't get off the table. Your ejections are too low. So they sent him home. Couldn't do anything. They just said, get the paperwork ready. Well, fortunately for Bob, he had a choice because Dennis and Sharon Allen, who were on these products, shared them with him. And here he is 6 months later being interviewed by Fight News. He went back to work. He's announcing. They said, Bob, we thought we were going to lose you. You look amazing. What did you do? He talks all about this product and actually got permission from the Boxing Federation to talk about that product with the athletes. Share it with them, Bob. And here he is sitting at home in 2013, I believe this is. He bought a sports car and got a ticket going 120 miles an hour right here. Right? And he's still announcing today in his 80s. In fact, he was his last interview, they said, how are you feeling? You had that thing back in 2011. Here we are in 2019. How you feeling? He said, I feel like I can go on announcing for another 20 years. This is Jill, amazing individual, just the salt of the earth and so loving and caring, one of our top income earners. And she just loves the product. She loves the company, loves the product, loves helping people. Here she is in 2011 when the product came out. She was already in Isagenix. She added this to what she was doing. And here she is in 2019 at 60 years old. 60 years old right here, you guys. She works out 6 days a week, CrossFit type of working out. She said, I don't even get sore, 60 years old. This is a picture that I was there when we took this picture. This is in Winthrop, Minnesota. She's laying horizontal right here, and her posture was just really bent out of shape. And it was so bad that it forced her chin into her chest. And got on the phone with Liddy, and she said, hey, if you have something that will help telomeres like that, that's the holy grail of nutrition. She put her parents on it immediately. And I've stayed out at their farm home. And the body can course correct. Your bones are not made out of wood. They're made out of intelligent cells. And like a computer, when you restore the software, it starts to run optimally. So it's pretty simple as that. Here she is where at 80 years old, her chin was always like that. She was on a walker. Here she is at 83, her chin up off of her chest. She's standing more upright, not using a walker anymore. Her husband took a little bit too much. He wouldn't listen. He just, kept taking more and more. Just kidding. I love that. I love telling that joke. It works really well in a live setting. I hope you're laughing at home. So, why would you want to be on this? It's called life. It's called quality of life. Dr. Robert Watine, board certified internal medicine doctor, in the news because of what this is doing for his patients. He says, I put over 400 of them on it and they're all getting better. And I've only changed one thing, giving them this. And he points to a big stack of the bottles. So how long would you want to be on this? If it's course correcting, the moment you stop taking it is the moment your body stops course correcting and it starts going the other way again. So how long would you want to be on this? And the answer is forever. As long as you want to be healthy. And who needs to be on it? Who do you know that has cells? Who do you know that's going to eat? Karen, she was homebound for 3 years. They told her, get the paperwork ready. You're not going to make it past the holidays this year. So this is August. So we're talking, Thanksgiving, Christmas. She's going to expire. And so she already got the paperwork done. She was invited to a meeting that she literally came to. And she bought 12 pills from somebody's bottle that was there at the meeting. And then she ordered it for herself. This is her 2 days later. She just came to the meeting last time I was in Vegas, brought 2 elderly women. I asked her, how many pills did you buy? And she's all, I bought 12. So this is 2 days later. This is 3 days later. She came to our company event for 3 days. Here she was homebound, didn't leave the house. She stayed for our whole company event, 3 days. She pretty much bought the store. And here she is a month later. Here she is 2 months later. This is her about 6 months later on Facebook. I need to get another picture with her. She looks amazing. This last meeting that she came to in Vegas, I'm going to be there again in about a week. I picked up motocross after being on it for 2 years. As our telomeres, they shorten incrementally. So as we support our body nutritionally with better nutrition than we were before we started on it, the body incrementally is going to begin to heal itself. Let your food be your medicine. That's what Hippocrates said, right? The Hippocratic Oath. Let your food be your medicine. So when I got on it, incrementally, my body started getting better and better. That's the law of health. And so it's a principle. Well, I got feeling so much better, I picked up motocross at 46 years old. I hadn't ridden a dirt bike since I was a teenager. And I started outperforming the teenagers, and I was on the track longer, and I would go 2, 3, 4 days in a row without getting sore and fatigued. I could stay on the track longer, and I started racing, and I started beating them. That was awesome. I took a 3rd place in my first race, a 2nd place in my 2nd race, and then the day before the 3rd race, I was out practicing and I shattered that leg. It literally exploded it. The doctor couldn't fix it. He fixed this one, but he said, I can't touch that. So he bolted this to my bones so the pieces wouldn't move around. Now, it's the worst kind of fracture you can have. It's called a pilon fracture. And the doctor told me that did the surgery, it'll be up to a year before you can stand on it with all of your weight, and you'll never run again. And you guys, I tried to tell him about the product and what had been happening for other people, even from people still being troubled by trauma they had, decades ago. And so he didn't listen. But here I was 3 months later running stadiums. Literally, you guys, 3 months later. In 4 months, I was back on the dirt bike. I had been off my feet for 10 weeks. I'd only been on my feet for 2 weeks right here after the accident. But it was a total of 3 months, and I was running stadiums. Didn't even have any muscle atrophy, being off my feet for 10 weeks. Wow, the miracle of the human body. I love when Kathy and anybody ever posts these pictures. They go viral on Facebook. She's 69 years old right here. That's her. She's 69 at Fitness America in Las Vegas. She's turned 70 right here. And Kathy, I'm sure, is on the presentation. She's on here usually every Monday. And I think Kathy's 72 now, turned 72 this year. Age is just a number. Chantel, having problems with her back. She bought a new mattress, bought all these pillows. She could usually adjust herself to get a couple hours of sleep, but then it got to the point, 0 sleep for about a year. 0 sleep, could you imagine? And now she's hiking, she's boating, she's horseback riding, and she's doing the most back-breaking job of all. She's helping her husband with his flooring business. I mean, you guys, she's living a normal quality of life now. And how awesome. So it's very profound, very simple, very profound. This pack right here, 2 pills in the morning, 2 pills at night. I swallow my pills with my shake. And this is the breakfast of champions right here. 1 shake every morning, 2 pills in the morning, 2 pills at night. It will dramatically and drastically change somebody's life. So long telomeres, short telomeres. Now you know more than pretty much 99% of everybody on the planet. Do you want long ones or short ones? If you can answer that, long, and you know why you want long telomeres, you know more than 99% of pretty much everybody. Whose name's popping into your head? We'll be doing this again next Sunday, 3 o'clock California time. Then we'll do it on Monday, this same time. Every week we do it. It's you can go to foreverpack.com and watch the video there 24/7. Dr. Plant joined our company, #1 graduated student, #1 in his class at Harvard Medical School. Just joined Isagenix, CFO. He said there was over 20 companies that were vying for him. They were trying to wine and dine him and get him to come and work for him. He could have made a lot more money working at other companies. But he said, look, I didn't want to maintain people's illness. I wanted them to get better. And I knew that we could be proactively helping people to restore their quality of life through great nutrition. And nobody's leading the way like Isagenix. And so he chose Isagenix. He could have gone anywhere. #1 graduate of Harvard Medical School. He said 85 to 90% of deadly and gruesome diseases are due to lifestyle choices we could have made differently. The pain and suffering and all of the challenges that people have to deal with could have been different just through a choice. That's why I've done over 5,000 presentations. This is the single greatest one choice that anybody could make by a long shot. There's nothing that even comes close to this. Nothing. And they could have made a choice differently. Well, I will add to that. They can only make the choice if they know about it. And not only do people not know about telomeres, they do not know about this and what it is. There are so many people in our company that are not even taking this. We changed that. They let me lecture on it from the science stage during celebration, and they sold out in the store. Imagine that. The company that's making the product sold out in hours after I did my presentation. People in the company don't even know what it is. So could you be a game changer in somebody else's life? Absolutely. So the other part of the whole Forever Pack is you are what you eat. You know, you can only put out equal to what you put in. This is not your carbs, fats, proteins, minerals, right? This is not your macros. This is not your calories. So you've got to put food in every day. So if you could make a choice to replace one meal and it dramatically change your life, would you? And it's cheaper than what you're currently doing. For most people, it's cheaper, or I should say less expensive. Could it change your life? And the question and the answer is, I need to reset this. I don't know why it does that. The answer is a resounding yes if it's this meal right here. And I'll just simplify this with the mind that made this is the same mind that 40 researchers couldn't do this in over a decade. And he did it in months. Is the same mind that made this. And putting 2 and 2 together for you here, he said no company ever made the products the way that they hired him to make them. He said every single company, every product I've ever made was compromised in one way or another. He said, don't get me wrong, I got some good products to market, but not what I knew I could. So what he's basically saying is nobody ever got the chance to put this in their body when he worked for other companies. Unparalleled nutrition, that's what I call it. And it will get your body alkaline in 5 to 7 days. What does that mean? It changes your body's appetite. All of a sudden where you were craving ice cream and Snickers bars and soda, all of a sudden your body doesn't crave it anymore. It gives it up. It's physics. It's your body going alkaline. That's a chemical reaction based on the nutrition and the minerals that you put into your body. You only need 90 to get to homeostasis, that alkalinity. There's over 200 in this shake. You guys, in the quality that we're committed to, we inspect the ingredient, the blueprint of the ingredient, not only the contamination and that everything that what we say is in it, the actual blueprint every time they're dropped off. It's called blueprinting. And we check them every single time they're dropped off. So the quality's there and the results are there. So simplicity has never been so profound. Replacing, this is the breakfast of champion, and we're pioneering this. You guys, do you get that? This whole system. Okay, look, it's easy to understand, simple to do. It's affordable. Look, a fast food meal, like a Burger King meal, burger, fries, and a Coke, is about 10 or 11 bucks. For one meal, that's killing you. Like, it's literally the problem. This is less than that. It's half the cost for both of these products, and you're replacing one meal. It's less than $5.50 a day. Cheaper than one meal that you're buying out there at a fast food joint. And then you lose the cravings in between meals, and you give up some of this stuff. Like, I have somebody that's not been to Starbucks since they've been on this. $300 a month habit. Why haven't they been to Starbucks? Because their body's alkaline. They're not craving the acidity, and they have the energy. Imagine that, getting energy from your food. What a novel idea. So affordable, yes. Results, we're pioneering them. Nobel Prize winning results, I might add, in my opinion, and Bill Andrews too, and it's easily shareable. All right, so the company put a promotion behind this. This is a pack that I put together 8 years ago when this came out. I just knew that simple is better. And the results would be so profound because of this one product. Combine that with the world's greatest food, it's a 1-2 combination. And it's affordable, it gets the results. People will create a habit out of this. I love what Lenny says, because you sneak past the amygdala. I love that word, amygdala. That's your brain that says, hey, if you try to change your habits too quickly, too dramatically, I'm going to mess you up. Your own brain does that to you. So let's just treat this like a marathon. Let's just replace one shake every morning, and we'll add 2 pills in the morning, 2 pills at night. So this has gone viral in the company, and the company noticed, and they're putting a promotion behind it. They have all kinds of promotions. We have $47 million in upfront bonus money. They might as well put that where it's going to serve them best and get the greatest return. Long term, right? That's what promotions are for. Well, it's $164 for this pack. If you enroll with this pack today and you enroll 2 people as customers of this pack, they're going to give you $170. That's a bonus. It's called the Eat for Free promotion. You literally eat for free by sharing it with 2 people. Who do you know that wants to look better, have better energy, age more gracefully, actually age youthfully, like you do a youth turn, like a U-turn in a car, you're going to do a youth turn. And who doesn't want that? Who doesn't want their cells to run optimally? And if this is the only way you can get that, so introduce it to people, watch their results and how excited and how good that makes you feel when they report. I get all kinds of texts from people who are getting texts from other people. I get it secondhand now. So in this promotion, you share it with 2 people and they give you a $170 bonus. You just ate for free for an entire month. Try that at your grocery store. All right, now, if you take the time, effort, and energy, they don't stop there. Time, effort, and energy to teach this person to do the same thing, get their products paid for, then the company says, great job. We'll give you another $450 for a total of $620. And again, I don't know why my computer, I probably need to reset my computer. All right, so here we go. So let's get to where we were. $620. You help these people to get their products paid for, right? And you just made $620. You only paid $164. That'll pay for 3 months of your product. And guess what? They pay you 6% on every product order in your entire organization. So if these people, and that's a residual passive income. So when these 2 people bring 2 people into your organization, you get paid 6% on the business volume that's created by them ordering that product when they started. And what's going to happen at the end of the month? If they love the product, they're going to order it again. Guess what? You're going to get paid that 6% continually for the rest of your life. I'm getting paid 6% from people I enrolled 14 years ago. When I stopped mechanicking, they don't pay me for any cars that are being fixed at there anymore. Any customers that keep coming back to the dealership, they don't pay me anymore. Isogenics does. So now if these 2 people teach these 2 people how to get their products paid for, there's 8 more people. They just made $620, and you have 8 more people added to your organization that you're going to get paid 6% on. That's on unlimited depth, infinite levels. We get paid every week. It calculates that volume in real time. So it's a great blessing that Isogenics has put together to free people both physically and financially if they choose to. You can just be a customer if you want. You can do this and that's it. You get to decide, but all of it's there for you. A brand new person can come in and do the same thing that I did 14 years ago. And it's just an amazing company and what they have to offer. So again, health is a habit. Let's treat it like a marathon and not try to get your health back all in 1 month. Let's just continue to create a very simple habit that's very profound. Foreverpack.com, you could watch this presentation in 22 minutes. Foreverpack.com, notice how PAC is spelled, P-A-K, and let people evaluate, people that you're thinking of right now. Here's the application. You just get back with the person that got you here. They're going to get just their normal everyday information, you know, your shipping, your address, that kind of stuff. Get your membership set up, and it's $29 a year. Now, when you enroll, every brand new person gets 2 free membership codes. So the people that you sign up so that you can get your $170 bonus, the 2 people you sign up, they don't have to pay the membership. Every new person gets 2 free membership codes. All right, so ask the person who sponsors you, how do you get those codes so that you can enroll your spouse or a sibling or a child or an employee or a coworker or whatever, right? So once you've enrolled 2 people, $170 bonus, you just paid for your products. Help them to do the same thing, and you just made another $450. And now you're building that passive residual income. What would it mean to you to make an extra $500 passively every month? What would that do for you? $500, $750 a month? $500 a month changed my life. I was delivering newspapers every morning at 4:30, every single morning, 7 days a week. Made me about $600 a month. That was work. This didn't feel like work. I wanted to change people's lives. I felt good about it. I went from changing people's oil to changing their lives. Started making an extra passive $500 a month. That turned to $700, and then to $1,000, and then on and on and on. Me and my wife now, our personal results with this business has been $10 million now. What a blessing for me and my family. And it allows me to do so much more in the world. Gives me more options. So get back with the person that got you here. Decide which flavors you want, and let's rock this, you guys, and let's go out and create a ripple effect in the world where we're improving people's lives and helping them to progress forward. Because have you noticed, most people are going the wrong way? We're in a health crisis. So with that, I'm going to toss it back to you, Angel, and let you have the last word.
Oh my gosh, if you're not excited about that, I don't know what to even say, because these fire me up every time. And I just want to ask you a question. If not now, when? Like, you're eating anyways, so why not replace it with the best nutrition possible? You know, all I say is just be open. Your body's the best science. Just put the products in your body and watch what will happen, because when you support the body, like you said so beautifully, with nutritionally, with the right nutrition, your body then performs the miracles, right? And so what I ask you is just put your body to the test and put these products to the test and let your body be the miracle that it is. And, you know, if you're not grateful for your results, you get your money back. But if you are grateful for your results, a grateful heart shares. And why not take advantage of this Eat for Free Club? You know, I took advantage of it, and, you know, it's blessing thousands of people, my family, friends, and just grateful for all of this, Dave. And thank you so much for sharing this with us. And be open. That's all I have to say, is just be open.
Thank you, Kathy. So get back with the person that got you here. Hey, Carla, it's great to see you guys. Kathy, there's Kathy. Great to see you guys. And Jojo, you know, okay, so I'm just going to stop there, let you guys carry on with your Labor Day weekend. Is that what we're doing, right? So have a great evening with your families, and we'll see you next week. Bye, everybody.